Good night, folks. Good night, Peter. Mr. Makuk. Howard, how are you? Can everybody hear me? Good. Um, Hope everybody's doing well. Anybody else that's here, drop your name or say hi so we can give you a shout out. Mr. Wilson, Ian Wilson in the place. Yeah, anybody don't know, Dane Wilson's Judy's big bro. He's the one who keeps her in check. Nobody else can keep her in check. Mr. Howard Benjamin, I don't see you a lot in here now, so welcome. Let's give Howard a big round of applause and his amazing kidding season that he's going through. Howard is the man. Peter said, need the number. I mean, it truly said this thing sound like me. Doesn't it sound like applause? Sound like applause to me. William, welcome. Or maybe I should give Howard 2 shots. You know what I mean? He's doing good. He's doing amazing with his kidding season. Trudy's just a hater for heavy rain and zinc proof. That's because rain a fall a year zinc proof a country. Yeah, we'll try, William, we'll try to line up the thing. No, seriously, Howard Benjamin's doing a great job with his kidding season, and you know, like 30 goats in the season to kid out. So it's a big task. So, you know, he's doing very well, keeping mortality rate down. Goats look healthy. Enough big respect for him. Big respect. Judy's always hating on my sound effects. Sure. Okay. Remember to share the links. Invite some people to come through. Sir William, Howard, I get enough big up tonight. You know what I rate about Howard? That man goat always packed with hair. He's never short on feed. Yeah, we need to link him and find out what's his hair source. See, Natty, I got ban you if you quick to take up the truth, you know. I got ban you from the thing. Why you laughing, bro? Railway Goat Farm, welcome. Cruz. Welcome, Cruz. Mr. Davis. Howard, are you on the island? You're not on the island. You're there foreign. Well, according to your social media posts, you're there foreigner. I don't know. Okay, so yeah, we're in the dance. Okay, so tonight, on a serious note, tonight I want to talk about something that that is very frustrating for us, and that is having good health, having good health on the farm. That is a an issue for a lot of people, a lot of farmers. But in fact, it's a general thing in Jamaica, really, across the board. But since we're into agricultural thing, we're gonna talk about what we know, which is small farm operation, etc. Big up Vivian. So we've been having this discussion for a while informally about finding good workers for the farm, right? And for basically doing anything in Jamaica specifically. And the thing is, your Howard says every time you change a worker, you have a setback, which is true. Um, I don't really know where to start when it comes to this topic because there's so much to it. One, let's start with how do you find somebody? What do you need to do to find somebody that will work and understand what you're trying to do, understand the task at hand? How do you find that? For us, what we did was we have Cruz, which is a really good worker, and to be honest, that's about it. There's We've gone through so many people on the farm that just does not they don't get it. They don't understand the assignment according to the trending saying. They definitely don't understand the assignment. So how do we go about finding somebody that gets it? I can't profess that I have the answers. I can only tell you what my concept is and my approach to this. The number one thing for me is you shouldn't hire somebody on the farm that is not there in the head, not there cognitively, not a objective thinker, doesn't think outside the box, doesn't read well, doesn't take initiatives, um, doesn't communicate well. You have to have a checklist of things, a checklist of things you're looking for within a worker that will make your operation work. And keep in mind that you have to have exercise in order to identify if this person can do these things or they have it in them, you know, like communication skills, active listening. When I say active listening, you're talking to some of these guys. I don't know if you all ever experienced this. You're talking to somebody, giving them instruction. They say yes, 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 boss, yes, sir. Yes, Miss Aria, yes, boss, yes, and then that's all you get because they really don't go ahead and do what you say. They're telling you yes, so you can either shut up or leave them alone. And for me, when I say active listening, I mean somebody who listens to you and respond accordingly. So if you're giving a directive, they should respond to you like they understand what you're saying or have questions based on the direction you give them or the directive you give them. For example, if you tell somebody go to number 4 pen and do XYZ, and they say yes, boss. Really and truly, you don't know if they really absorb what you're saying. So for me, I always ask him to repeat it. Repeat what I said. Repeat what I ask. Repeat what the directive is. And if they can't repeat it back to you, they weren't they weren't listening. They weren't actively listening. They're hearing you, but they're not actively listening to you. They're either saying, "Oh yeah, boss, I talk again, boss, as usual, I give you things to do or whatever," but they're not actively listening to you. And on the farm, I do this exercise all the time. You know, crews know that I do it all the time. I ask them to repeat back to me, like, do you understand what I'm saying? Or do you understand why we're doing this? What is your opinion on why we're doing it? How do you see this working? Because the yes, I may hear you, and yeah, Peter said another one. Me hear your boss, yes, but that doesn't work for me. So active listening, that's what I mean when I say active listening. Reading, the importance of reading. Most of us here that are in, or all of us here that are in this group, or the I Good family, are small farmers, putting in our money, our own money, our savings, trying to build something. Only in Jamaica, we you would do what we are doing, hiring people that can't read and is not interested in reading and is not interested in elevating themselves. They're just there to collect our money and keep it moving. Only in Jamaica. We wouldn't do this anywhere else. People in diaspora, people that are foreign. If you start a little business at a foreign, if you start a restaurant, you start a little any little service business, you now hire a man that can't read the instructions on any piece of paper. You know what I mean? If you're Howard Benjamin is here, if Howard have him own little electrical business, if him hire an apprentice to work with him, I guarantee you he won't hire a man that can't read the instruction that comes with a piece of electrical equipment, a tool, the installation of something, and there's specific instructions with it that comes with it. Howard is not gonna hire that guy if he can't read. Howard, give me a thumbs up if I'm right. Give me a fire emoji. Only in Jamaica we decide so we're going to take a guy, put him on an operation like the goat farms that we're doing as the new generation of farmers that has certain level of intricacies, certain level of understanding. You have to be able to read and understand what you read. You have to know the difference between CC and ML, and you got to know understand. You got to be able to read the label on medication, and just don't go off color coding. We had one guy on the farm. I'm like, yo, go in the medicine cabinet and bring me XYZ. He comes back asking me what color is the bottle. Yeah. He want the blue one, he want the red one. What color upon the bottle? The bottle is labeled. The bottle is labeled, but because he can't read, and he won't say he can't read, he won't say it. And every time I bring somebody on the farm, I ask the question, what level of education do you have? Tell me the truth. Do you read well? Can you do basic math? And it's not because I don't want to give a man a chance. It's because it's our money at stake. It's our choice if we want to take on a man to do certain things, knowing that he can't understand, he can't read very well, he doesn't communicate very well. It's on us. So somebody at that level, basically, him just need to come move things from A to B. I don't even trust them for use a weed whacker because really and truly, them think them are engineer too. They think they know more than the people them who build a weed whacker. So let me go back to the beginning. So the staffing, have a checklist. Have a checklist of things, criteria, job description, criteria that these people need to have in order to enter your facility and start doing anything. And communication is top of the list. The different things that let you know this person can communicate at a level that's needed to do the job. Communication. I got a guy on my farm, you're talking to him and it's like, you can, first of all, you can barely hear what him say. And when you're talking to him, he ain't looking you in the face. And when you say something to him, him walk off like him understand what you say. And mind you, he's a very good worker, but I can't have a conversation with him. I can't have a rational conversation with him because he won't stand there and have a conversation with me. Then you have the likes of crews who just have too much conversation with me. Love it still. So you create this checklist. You know, as I said, make sure the person can read at an acceptable level. Communication skill. He can have a conversation. Active listening. I explained before what active listening is. You know, and with those things, you gotta name them out, list them out. I should have do my list, but I was like too much going on today. But second, how do you know if this person is trustworthy? How do you know? You don't. So that person shouldn't have nothing to do with anything that you have to trust them with. Absolutely nothing. They need to earn it. Yeah. Here's what if a person can't read it and admit it, I have other great qualities. Like, yes. If somebody comes and say, look, I really need this job. I don't read very well, but I can do all the other things that don't require reading very well. Then maybe I'll give him a chance, you know, to do the physical labor stuff that don't need him to read or understand anything. Here's a question that I ask every worker. From in my other business to now, I ask everybody that I employ or bring in to work with me. I ask them this one question. Will you jump from a plane for $1 million? So first, I'll ask how much is a lot of money for them? Because I don't work at Jamaica. How much is a lot of money? How much they think is a lot of money for them? And they'll give me a number. You know what I mean? Usually back in the day in foreign, like $1 million. Now in Jamaica, I'm gonna tell you $100 million, whatever. But they drop a number. And I was like, okay, would you jump from a plane if I give you that? If I tell you jump from a plane, I give you $100 million. And based on how they answer that question, basically tells me what kind of mentality this person has. And I'll break it down for you. And you guys can try this on your own operation and your own day-to-day thing. And you ask that question, I'll tell you the personalities that go with the answers. The guy that says, yes, he will jump from the plane for the $100 million, That's a red flag. That's a crazy guy because he's a daredevil. He'll do anything. He's crazy. The guy who said, hell no, I'm not jumping, you don't want to deal with that guy. You don't want to deal with that guy because that guy is the one that, and if you ask him to do little things, he must say, no, I'm not do it. We're not there for that. That's not my thing. So, but the guy who stand there, look at you and think about it and ask you follow-up questions. Like, yo, am I jumping alone? Do I have a parachute? How big is this plane? Where is this plane? That's the guy. The whole thing behind that question is if you don't understand what's being asked of you, ask follow-up questions. People in leadership and bosses don't have time for waste by giving people impossible tasks. But they may ask you to do something and don't take the time to explain in depth what they're talking about. So if you don't understand and what they're asking you to you seems like, yo, how am I supposed to do that? Then you ask follow-up question because he may think what he's asking you to do is 1, 2, 3 easy because he may not have the details, the minute details, and you may be able to say, oh, we're not even close to that, so I can't go do that now. And then he may have to, like, why we're not there? And then you say, okay, because last week XYZ or whatever. Then you're like, oh, so we need to get to X before we can go to Z. Yeah. So there's always a reason behind a directive or a task given. But if a man quickly say, yo, yeah, man, I'm going to do it, and just go do what he feels like doing just to get it done without any in-depth explanation, that's the guy that will jump on the plane without asking any questions. A madman, crazy, daredevil. And the guy will say, no, I'm not do that. Is the guy will tell you, say, nah, put on the raincoat and go out there in the rain because he'll get cool. So he don't care what you want to say, him not go out there. And he would rather guy in yard than go out there. You know what I mean? Like, somebody needs to start telling these people in Jamaica that rain don't give you cool. Every football player in the Premier League would have cool all season if rain give cool because a rain them playing at every match, almost every match. Rain don't give you cool. So that question I ask everybody. Ask everybody that question because that tells me how they think, how they process directives. The man will quickly jump, same with jump, madman, crazy. The guy who said no, you don't want to deal with him. But the guy that ponders and asks you follow-up questions and want to know why and how him plan, how you think he can do that? How is he? Where's the assistance? Where, like, why does he have help? All that stuff. That's the guy. That's the guy you want on your team. So the checklist, certain questions to find out if the person is at the level you want them to think. You want more brain power on your farm than manpower. People need to understand the processes, the programs that makes their life easier, not revert to the old way of doing things. People need to understand the science behind everything. The basic, you should be able to explain to them the basic science behind everything. Like the man them that sharpen the cutlass against the blade. So then the cutlass get filed down in record time because them constantly filing down the cutlass against the blade. And you can't tell them nothing because I saw them do it from long time. These are the things that you have to figure out when you're getting somebody to work for you. What is their understanding of the basic task on the farm? Something simple as sharpening the cutlass. Let a man show you how him sharpen the cutlass. And then you realize, oh my God, it's gonna cost me 2, 3 extra cutlass a year based on how this guy sharpen cutlass. It seems simple, but it helps. You'll be surprised how many people file cutlass against the blade, like the sharp part. Like, not one, it's dangerous. Two, it just erases the blade of the cutlass real fast. Yeah. Second, no, not second. We just keep going because there's a lot of them. The ability for them to come in and grasp what you're trying to do versus what they learned before. Like on Cabra Ranch, the way we do things, nobody that comes to the farm and wants to work there have never done anything close to what we're trying to do on the farm. Not even close. Nobody don't come there and understand and can explain to me really what rotational grazing is and how it works and the science behind it. None of them. Nobody ever come to the farm and can connect the dots. After I tell them how the farm works, nobody has been able to connect the dots on how the cow relate to the goat in grazing, the timeline between pastures, how the rotation, how long the goats it needs to take for them to come back to pasture one. Nobody's been able to connect it and explain it to me. After telling them what we do, and then if I explain it to them, I say this is what we do, this is how we graze, this is what we do. Explain back to me how it works, the benefit, how does the cow affect it, how does the timeline affect it, why the cow is behind the goats 4 days, why the goats can't come back to that pasture in 6 weeks, within in less than 6 weeks. They give me all different kind of answers except the answer that's in there. One man tell me, say, oh, you give the grass time for grow up, you know. One man say, like, there's so many different answers besides what I actually told them because they're so stuck in what they've learned. They are stuck. They've been taught one way and they never shift. The way the man file the cutlass, one man tell me, say, I saw the man them do it from long time, and some them teach me. One man said, the man them we up in a sentence hill, I saw them do it from long time, so I saw it's supposed to do. I'm like, we're not even living in Sentan. So where the Sentan hill man them come from? Man them we plant yam and potato and anything. I don't know. It is very frustrating. But we have a checklist. And sometimes we have to compromise on the checklist because we can't find somebody who will tick all the boxes. But I can tell you, we've been burnt by compromising on certain things. I will never compromise again on the reading. I will never compromise on the wrong answer to my question about they will jump from the plane. I will never compromise on that again because it burns us in the long run. the whole concept of every man, most of these guys, they can barely read, barely understand anything, is going to tell you about installation or something, and then we leave off like they're hanging a door or a gate, and the hinge have 4 screw holes on each side. They put 2 and 2 and tell you, say, yo, that will work. Yeah, I was hold up for a minute. I explained to them there's a reason it has 4 holes on each side. The man then will build it and test it, know that it needs 4 screws on each side for it to be secure and long lasting. So it won't fall off. It won't undo itself and fall off. That man I say, no, man, that will work, man. 2 screw work. 2 on each side will work. You're not going away. So I'm like, so let me get this straight. You know more than the engineers who build this. Man, them will take time and test it and swing it from hundreds and hundreds of times to figure out how many screws will make sure it stay there. You know more than them. A long time we are do this, Mr. Ray, we are talk about you are going like you don't respect man, so a long time man I do this. Yeah, but doing it long time and doing it the wrong way doesn't make you good. You can practice doing the wrong thing forever. It's still the wrong thing. I remember my dad used to yell at us all the time for practice singing the wrong way. You cheat and don't hit the note, and them I say, yo, hit the note, what you do? I'm like, yo, I'm just doing a thing. Just where your back go on. So the man I say, yo, if you practice doing the wrong thing, you will forever do the wrong thing. If you don't practice to hit that note, you'll never hit that note when it counts. Yeah. So, yeah, true. Yeah, that can work, man. That can work. I don't know. That can work, man. The whole in our move. See it in our move, man. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Peter, you understand. But you correct a man and put your foot down and tell him that's not how it works. Do it correctly. Man, tell you, yeah, this him. But like, you're not give him no props, respect. Respect him. Yeah. I experience it all the time. And when I ask, yo, like, what is that? And that's not how it's supposed to be. When I say, yo, diss me like you don't know me, act like me don't know what I do. A long time I do this. But he's doing it long time, doing it the wrong way all the time. And all of them know how to do everything. They all come acting like they know how to do everything. I'll give you a story. We start the farm. We know we need to get certain things, weed whacker, chainsaw, these things. Have one guy working there. He's like, oh, we got to get the weed whacker. Got to get the weed whacker. Finally, we get the weed whacker. We say, yo, the weed whacker is here. In a long time, I use weed whacker. I know if you use weed whacker. Brand new weed whacker. Come with the bottle for measure the oil and everything. Brand new weed whacker. The man mix the thing and pour it in, and he could never get it started. Pull him, he almost pull out him armpit. Couldn't get it started. So happened that some other people came to visit the farm. I don't remember if they were coming to fix something or deliver something. And one man was like, yo, let me see what you're doing. Our brand new weed whacker. I try to start it, but it not start. Man, I say, look like something wrong with it. Our weed whacker ain't right. That's what the worker is saying. The guy come look at it and pour out the oil out of it, whatever. He's like, yo, this oil no mix right. I say, yo, empty it, man. Mix a new batch of oil. 2 pull. Weed whacker start. And the worker is the guy that been telling us years and years in my work with Weed Whacker. So basically, this guy talk about using Weed Whacker, but all he does is squeeze the thing. He don't know nothing about Weed Whacker. And he doesn't take the time to learn how to just mix the thing, the oil, to put in the Weed Whacker. Him just go off of what somebody tell him. He don't know the ratio. And he not tell me say him can't read very well because the paperwork in front of him have the ratio. The bottle is there with the oil and everything. But he can't read the thing to realize what's the ratio, how much oil, how much gas. So him just go off of where somebody tell him and then get it wrong, and that Weed Whacker wouldn't start. So the whole concept of them lying or not telling you the whole truth or what their capabilities are, that everybody can do everything, you have to find that out for yourself. And sometimes if you don't take the time to do the exercises before they actually start working, it ends up costing you money. It costs you money in the long run because a man's gonna break something that costs that costs thousands and thousands of dollars, or he's gonna cost you an animal, or there's gonna be an accident, something. So you have to have a list, as I said, a checklist of things, and go through those exercises with them. And that's the guy that's down here, right? Those are the guys that are coming in, that they're regular farmman, and they're regular guys that claim that they know how to work on a farm. They know these things. Then you have the other set, what I call the paper pushers. These are the guys that go to school, learn the theory about certain things. You ask them the question about rotational grazing, they give you the textbook definition. If you explain to them how your system works, they really don't do the active listening and understand what you're saying. Them just regurgitate what them learn at school back to you, right? These guys who go school and learn agriculture and learn this science behind certain things, they come in, or they want to come in, and they just want to be paper pushers. They want to walk around with a paper clip and give instructions and tell people what to do. And they really don't want to get their hands dirty. They work off theory. I always got the latecomers like Frederick and them, man, that come in and I try to get you for a recap or something. Frederick, I'm just bugging you, bro. Welcome. So Frederick's asking a question. He came on late, so not sure if we discussed this, but what do you think about employing high schoolers, grade 10 to 11, and train them in the right way? We'll get to that. We will get to that. So right now we're talking about the college graduates. The man then will go to the different agricultural colleges, and they have the theory down. The ones that come to our farm, a couple of them, one man come, we tell him that, yo, first of all, we don't need no paper pushers. We need somebody who's active in it and fully understand how it works and can manage the different aspects of it. Tell him to shadow cruise on them for a day. so they get a grasp of what's going on. He didn't come back the next day. Actually, he left for lunch and didn't come back. Right, Judy? Yeah. He left for lunch and didn't come back because in his head, he thought he would come in with a clipboard and some instructions and tell the man, say, yo, make sure track clean, make sure this thing, make sure whatever. But what we need is somebody who comes in and get their hands dirty and understand what we're doing. Understand that, yo, if you see a goat that don't look good, you need to grab that goat and do an inspection of that goat and know what you're looking for and what you need to do. And if it's beyond your scope, what's the next step? Who do you call? Man want all kinds of money and he is not willing to grab a goat. And he's gonna tell, wants to tell you how you should run the operation, how things should work. But he's not willing to take the time to learn what's happening there and then tell me where I can improve on what I'm trying to do. He's gonna tell me where some dude at Case or some dude at Ebony or some dude at Bodles or whoever teach him something from a textbook. Those are the paper pusher guys. Now, I'm sure there's a good one out there. I haven't experienced it yet because they come in with a chip on their shoulder and come in thinking they know. What they don't realize is every farm is different. Every operation is different. I could not tell Peter, Mr. Makuk, how to run his farm. I can consult on certain things based on my experience and what I've learned. But if he doesn't have the same resources as I do, how am I going to tell him you need to do it that way? If all's equal, then I can say, yo, this work on my farm, you should give it a shot. But he may not have the same type of grass. He obviously, number one thing I know between me and Peter talk a lot is that him not get the same amount of rain I get. And he's in St. Mary. And enough time we'll be like, yo, you must fill up your tank by now. I said, no, I'm not getting the rain. I'm like, it's raining all day here. And he's what, 15, 20 minutes away? No, maybe half an hour away from me, up in the hills. He's up in the hills, but down into a valley in the hills. You go all the way up that hill and then you go down in a valley. And rain just seems to go over him there. And I'm telling you, this is a real thing. Lots of time rain is pouring all day in our farm. And Peter said, yo, it rained for an hour and it stopped. So I can't tell Peter what to do up there. So it's a saying, these guys come, you got to understand what's going on. Understand how it works. Understand the system that's being applied. Learn it and then figure out, oh, I see an area that we can improve on and suggest it. Don't just come in and tell them and say, what? You need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do whatever. I'm like, okay. You don't even know how much rain I get. You don't know nothing about what we do here, how things work here, what we have access to. You don't even take the time to figure out how the goat them eat. But you want to go off some textbook. Now, those are the paper pushing guys that you have to take note of. The educated, quote unquote, educated guys who think they can come in and tell you what to do and switch up how things work. They still need to go through the checklist too. Certain things don't apply to them. Obviously they can read, they know how to think, but then the question, or if they will jump from the plane, still applies to them. Because for them, education and their ego and arrogance Them will tell you, so them are gonna jump from the plane too, because them know more than you. Some of them have the impression that you're calling them to hire them because you don't know what you're doing. You need them to run it. You need them as the professional, and them are not professional. They're professional students, well educated on theories, but as I said, every farm is different. Now, with all that said, how do you actually find somebody that will fit in what you're trying to do? In my opinion, this is what worked for us. You find the right person that understands the different criteria. He may have no experience in farming, but if he has the enthusiasm to learn, if he grasps what you're telling him, if he communicates well on anything, if he's an active listener, that's the guy that you can train to do well in your operation. Case in point, Cruz. And I say do well, not great, because greatness comes on the next level. But I would tell you that Cruz is a good worker. Cruz understand what we're trying to do. And we found Cruz when we're doing renovation on the farm, going to the cottage, and Cruz came as help to the builders. And we're observing Cruz and Cruz doing the little menial things for them. Push up tool, push up wood to the roof, clean up things. And we're watching him and we say, yo, we had some guy doing painting. Was it painting, Trudy? Yeah, one of the guys from my name, Brother Walker cousin or whatever it is that was doing painting. And we said, Cruz, you want to help the youth paint the thing and yeah, thing? Yeah. So then the youth will get to the back of the cottage and they're doing their thing. Cruz come and say, yo, he now work fast. The youth I tell Cruz that Cruz must slow down. If he work so fast because that XYZ. And then round there, burn a spliff or do whatever. And Cruz come and tell us that, yo, I don't think this youth really want to do no work, in just one thing. So that really struck a chord with me. It's like, okay, this youth may be different. So then through then I have a conversation with him about what he wants to do. He don't know nothing about what we're trying to do. We give him a shot to come. We actually ask him to explain to us where he sees himself in a few years. What does he want to do? He told us what he wanted to do. I think he wanted to be a police at the time or something. He had some issues with paperwork and all that stuff, but he had aspirations. He had, goals that he's trying to accomplish. So I say, yo, let's give him a shot. I asked him if he wants to. And say, okay, we come and try it. And he didn't know anything about goat farming or anything about caring for goats. The only thing he knows why everybody as a youth know go tie out goat and all them things. We teach him all the things we want him to learn about the operation, how to take care of the goat. Cruz didn't know that you have to trim hoof. Cruz didn't know how to deworm goat, didn't know how to check if the goats need deworming. Cruz didn't know what to look for if a goat is sick. And he learned all that stuff till he became the guy that the other two guys that were there forever They're calling him for everything. They're calling him to give injection. They're calling him to administer medication. They're calling him to read the labels. They're calling till it dawned on us like, yo, they don't serve no purpose. If Cruz is who they call all the time, then what purpose do they serve? So, with all that said, you need to find somebody who understands what you're trying to do, who tick the boxes, not somebody who actually know anything about God, because that can be taught. Somebody with enthusiasm, somebody who was willing to learn, somebody who's not bringing baggage with them. It's not bringing somebody else's way of doing things with them. Doesn't mean that somebody with good knowledge or good experience doesn't help, but starting building somebody the way you want it done is, to me, I find is the best way. When they buy into your concept, when they buy into your way of doing things, when they look out for the way we do things. When you're in a conversation with them and they're repeating what you said to them a year ago about something, when you try to change something and then I come back to you and I say, yo, but last year, this is what we were doing and there was success to it. Now you have to explain to them why you're changing it, which is, to me, is a plus, because, yo, if it's working and it's working fine, why you want to change it? Bring new data to them why you want to change it. Let them grasp the new idea, the new dimension, the new direction you want to take, and why you want to take it. I remember the day when the whole system and the whole operation of the farm down on Cruz, like he got it. It was the end of the day and everybody was leaving. And I said, yo, come, let me want to talk to you. Bring him into the goat house. It was kidding season. Bring him into the goat house and explain it to him. I say, yo, this is the reason we need to save every kid. One of these kids that's on the ground, at the time we were selling kids for like $35,000 the most. And I said, one of these kids potentially $35,000. When one kid die, we potentially lose $35,000. This is how the farm works. More kids get to weaning and get to the market. That's how we make our money. We need to make sure goats are bred, make sure they have the kids, make sure the kids get to weaning and to the market. That's how we make the money. Let's add up the money. I stood there with them in the goat house and add up the money with all those kids in the lounge, in the nursery. That's when it dawned on him that, oh, okay, this is how it works. This is why the system we have in place is so important, to maintain the system and follow instructions, follow everything about it. No shortcuts, because shortcuts is gonna defeat us. We defeat the purpose of everything we're trying to do. That's the day I explain it to them. Goats need to come in a month before they have kid. That's the reason we record everything. Because the chance of a goat having kid in the field and that kid dying, we're losing $35,000. Goats need to come in, be in a safe environment. We know exactly what's going on. Goat's mother is healthy, everything. We need healthy kids on the ground. And we need to bring those healthy kids to market in a timely manner. And that's the day Cruz understood. Well, to me, I felt like that's the day he understood why we do what we do, the way we do it. So finding somebody who buys into the concept, understand it, willing to learn it is the key. It doesn't have to be a goat expert. Because now we have YouTube and we have Wikipedia and we got Google and all these things, resources everywhere. So the guy who's willing to read, watch YouTube videos, and don't is not scared to ask questions, that guy will learn a lot more and be way more effective than the guy who claimed that he knows everything. Every medication that comes on the farm, you can Google it and find the proper dosage for your animal. Everyone, every single one. And people will tell you the after the what do you call it? Like some medication or don't tell you what it is for goats. They tell you what it is for sheep, they tell you what it is for cattle, after label dosage. You can get an idea what the after label dosage is based on other people's experience when you Google it or look it up on YouTube. Like a lot of medication and a lot of some other dewormers, you have to double them for goats because they really didn't test it for goats. They tested for sheep and tested for cattle and whatever, but they didn't test it for goats. So after label suggestions from different farmers or different um, vets, they will tell you 1.5 or double the dosage for goats. So it's important to find somebody will take the initiative, who's resourceful, naturally resourceful, and naturally takes initiative to figure out and gain information. Somebody can be very experienced and come from some other farm and whatever, and they always find a way to get people to tell you that they're great. But you have to figure out, are they great for your system based on what you want them to do? If somebody understand the basics of electrical or electricity work, you got to know that for Carver Ranch because we have electric fence, or you should be able to read on it, read about it, or research it. The thing is deep when you really put your mind to it, but when you write it down and have a checklist of things that you want to go over with a potential employee, then you have a better handle on, oh, okay, these are the criteria. These are what we won't compromise on. Because if we do, it's gonna hurt us. And try to get somebody who for sure have the same moral values as you. You have to figure out, find questions or exercises that's gonna expose what their moral compass is. Because if like one guy that came on the farm, him just a take Aki, simple thing as Aki. The man go down at the Aki tree, load up him thing with Aki, and I leave with Aki. And I ask him, say, yo, why not the back? Aki. Where you get Aki? And I tree down there, so I work for Aki on it. I'm like, okay, yo, so did you left some for Trudy? Now I'm up on the tree. Everybody there, I laugh and I say, I must joke him, I make. Man was dead serious. Dead serious. And pick the Aki and I leave with the Aki at the end of the day. Bag full of Aki. And then him not have the conscience. Him not have nothing in him will say, yo, I'm pick enough for share for us. So I pull him into the office and I say, yo, and that's how we live. That is stealing. Him said, no, that's not stealing. I'm like, dude, you're stealing. You didn't ask for it. And you pack it up and I leave. I'm like, I could call police right now and make them arrest you. That's stealing. And he said, no, I'm just take some, I left some on the tree for you. And he was dead serious. That's his mentality. He not have no conscience. As far as I'm concerned, I'm a born thief. He doesn't know the difference. He not have no moral compass. He doesn't, he not really think on that level. So this is a man without any second thought. This is a man that will just rob me. Will thief anything he can find. So you have to have exercises or questions that's gonna expose these people, because they will come on your farm and all of a sudden your farm develops some serious leakage. They will figure out how to leak out all your resources. When people understand them, they say leak them are thief things. And they will find unique ways to do it. So you have to take the time, put it on paper, figure out what your exercises are, what your questions are, before you bring people in. Right now, we're in need of another guy that can operate cognitively on a level that, like, we're cruise at. And it's been what, almost a year, Trudy, we've been trying to do this, and we can't find anybody, because our fear is to bring in much of the same. So we're like on an hamster wheel. In fact, maybe go backwards, because we're taking on a man what we don't know we're incapable of. So we have to choose the candidate, or choose whoever it is carefully, and let them come with, reference that we trust, that we know somebody can vouch for them to a certain level. And the thing about it is, I'm not worried about a man when they can arrest a man if him thief and anything. I don't want to get to that point. Everybody will come on the farm after give ID and it get recorded and can call the police. And I don't want to get to that point. I don't want to deal with all that. You know what I'm saying? I want to start teaching somebody how we do things, incentivize them, let them be energized to be there. Let them see the benefits, let them learn something. Figure out, look them in their eyes and see if they get it, if they actually understand, if they show enthusiasm for any aspect of it. I'm not saying you have to love kidding season, because kidding season can be messy. But maybe you're the guy who's so enthusiastic about the grazing and pasture development and nutrition. Maybe you're that guy. Maybe you're not the guy like who's a glove up and go in, pull out a kid. Maybe you're not that guy. That's understandable. But if you're the guy who's gonna keep bugging me about posture improvement, nutrition, then that's what I want. You don't have to be all about everything else. But if there's certain aspect of it you're passionate about and show enthusiasm about, we work with that because at least you're bringing something to the table and you're willing to participate in the improvement of those areas. I would say, for example, how many pounds of feed in a bag, and if individual is feeding a pound a day, you should know yourself how long it should last. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Those little simple little things, if they don't grasp it, if I tell you go to eat 10 pounds of grass a day, and the bag that we put the cut of grass in hold 50 pounds, and we have 20 goats, how many bags we need to bring up to the goat house? How many bag of chaff grass we need to bring to the goat house? Those are the simple things that you have to do exercise with these guys and see if they're thinking on that level. There is a science behind every one of these things. Numbers don't lie. I say, cruise them know the talk, all the lingo me use on the farm all the time. There's a science behind everything. Things don't just happen. Nothing on the farm just happen. You know what I mean? There's a reason everything happened. There is a reason why the goat them decide say them need to go over that side of the pasture rather than the other side. There is a reason. It's not just random. There's something over there that they want. Nothing just random. So goats can be really full coming in. But when it's guango season, when the guango tree are dropping, the cure full them is them a go the guango tree. It ain't random. It's because them want the guango seed. You know what I mean? And we all know how smart goats are. For goat farmers, we know how smart goats are. And really and truly, a lot of this stuff apply to any small farm, any farm business. These checklists and these things apply. If you're in chicken business, it applies. You want a guy who's gonna understand what you're trying to do. You know what I mean? You want somebody who understands these things, who buys into the concept. You don't want somebody who's gonna bring freedom thought process to it that doesn't is not in line with what you're trying to do. Yeah. So yeah, see, goats are smart, very smart animals. So you need people who understand this, who's gonna say, yo, I have to think about the possibilities of how these goats are gonna get themselves in trouble or get you in trouble or you know damage the neighbor's property, etc. Because if you, if observation on the farm, if a man don't take it, if I work, I don't take the time to do observation on the farm, he needs to go. He needs to go because observation on the farm save you a lot of heartache and pocket ache. And you got people that come and just do what they do and they observe nothing. They observe nothing. They don't stand there and look for 2 minutes. They'll put the grain in, they'll put the grass in, and then turn them back. And that's facts, I'm telling you. I see it on our farm all the time. Julie and I joke about it. I'm like, oh, they only do that when we're around. Because we always get this thing, oh, me never see them do that yet. I first me see them do that. Yeah. I'm like, oh, we're so lucky that they only do it when we're around. This only happens when we're around. You know what I mean? They know when we're around, so you know, go to sleep in the trough only when we're here. Dog are doing certain things only when we're here, only when we're around, because there's people that don't observe. Or if them see it, them don't want to do nothing about it. But the point I'm trying to make here is do a checklist, write it down, let people understand what they're there to do and what the expectations are. Let them get a grasp of what goes on the farm. If a man really want to work on the farm, then, pardon me, he should be able to spend even half the day seeing what goes on. A cattle ranch, the morning to noon is when most of the things happen. So a guy can come, and if he wants to really wants to work there, then I can run him through the exercise just one day. He can see what happens. He can grasp all aspects of the farm for the most part, the first part of the day. From milking, feeding, check animals, pasture, rotational grazing, setting up electrical fence, all that. He gets to see it between 8 and noon. So similar, you can have somebody do that if you really want to run them through it. Yeah. And we're fortunate at Cabo Ranch because Trudy loves writing things down, having a list, a checklist, a board to show what's happening, how we're going about things, dates, everything. I'm not there. I mean, I don't really like that type of stuff, really. I know how important it is, but I'm not that guy. But it goes hand in hand. A checklist, writing things down, yeah, it works. It works every time. So if you guys have any questions or any other topics surrounding this that you'd like me to touch on, let me know. Because I think that's about it from me when it comes to how we approach finding good workers. And we're still looking for good workers. I am not saying we've been super successful at doing this in Jamaica, really, you know, but we have an idea of what our approach is and what we can compromise on and what we won't compromise on. So if there's any questions, oh, the high schoolers, Frederick's question about high schoolers. That is a very, very good um, suggestion. However, I think they should come on as an intern. Yeah, this is the question. The question is, what do you think about employing high schoolers, grade 10 to 11, and train them in the right way? I think It's a great suggestion, and they should come in as an intern with the potential to be an employee, whether it's part-time or full-time or summertime. You know what I mean? Because you want to be able to train them and let them feel like this is something they want to do. Let them get the experience of being there, going through the different tasks, understanding how the system works before you offer them the money, because they will gladly take the money and don't want to learn nothing. They just want to collect the money. So if you say to a man, say, yo, you can be an intern and I will give you a stipend or whatever it is so you can get here, whether you take taxi or whatever so you can get here, whether it's 2 or 3 times a week or whatever it is, and you got to do this for 2 months or a month or whatever, and then we reassess it. And you have to figure out what your assessment procedure is. And if they survive it and they're diligent and they're on time and whatever, then you can go to the next level and offer them a part-time paid position and let them work their way into a full-time position or a summer position. And so, yeah, as Trudy said, we have, a principal and a teacher coming through to for the same reason. It's something we feel strongly about, something we've been trying to implement for a while, but COVID and everything interrupted that whole process. So now we're trying to kickstart it, and we have the principal and the agriculture teacher coming through, and we want to show them what we do, how we do what we do, so there's no misunderstanding of what they're getting into. This is not your grandfather's farm. The different aspects of our farm, the technology that we use, all that stuff, they got to understand it. The teachers got to understand it. So whoever they select or suggest to be interns or come and help on the farm has to be people who understand up here cognitively, that we're up here with our thought process, we're up here in operation. We're looking for the best minds, somebody who's going to think outside the box and bring something to the table. Serious. So, yeah. Okay. Any other question or suggestions or topic we should talk about surrounding this? Any burning issues when it comes to workers that we can collectively, discuss and give suggestions? If you guys have any, staffing issues, like any problems on the farm or conflict with workers on the farm that we can discuss here and help you by suggesting a resolution or an approach to the problem, we can do that. It's pretty quiet. Do I need to start a banner or something? Pay rates. Okay. Pay rates. I strongly believe that it depends on, you have to make the assessment at what level the person is coming in at. If the person is coming into your farm as I don't like to use the word farm hand. I call them farm technician or farm team member, whatever it is that give people the mindset that they're not a farm worker. You know what I mean? The nurses in a hospital, let me call them hospital worker. They don't. You know what I mean? They call them nurse because they specialize in something. So I want to get away from calling people who work on the farm hands or a farm worker or whatever. No, we you know what I mean, like Cruz is our operations manager. I don't call him a farm manager. He's our operations manager. And I tell him, when you go out there and people ask you what you do, you work at Cabo Ranch and you're the operations manager. If them not understand what Cabo Ranch is, that's a for them problem. If they push in details, then you can say, yo, it's a goat operation. It's not a goat farm. We're a goat, we're in the goat business. So Cruz is the operations manager. So back to your question, pay rates. Based on what the person is coming in to do, you determine, are they coming in as just a regular day-to-day activities that you can pay the minimum wage. The way I look at it for the most part is, how much is this person helping me make a dollar? Right? How much are they doing to help me make a dollar? How much value do they bring to what they're doing? If a man is just there to cut grass and catch water and all that stuff, you can find 10 people to do that. But if you have somebody who has special skills and they're bringing something to the table, then you have to figure out what the pay rate is for that. But if you're talking about a regular team member on the farm that just comes in and he's going to cut some grass and feed the goat, them, and you're not asking him to make certain decisions, and you're not asking him to do a certain assessment, then I think minimum wage is what it is. Now, you can structure minimum wage where people get the minimum wage is their base, but then there's bonus, there's incentives. You know, they do a great job. After your kidding season, you sell out some goat, a man get a little piece, a little bonus to show him, say, yo, he did a great job. You have to incentivize people. People have to understand that they're part of the team and not just a laborer. So that's our approach. Conversations on what their objectives are. That will tell you if this is somebody you should invest in, somebody you should, give more to them because they're giving you more. But if they're basically just there for cutting grass and carry water and everything them a call you and say, boss, I go to sneezing. Boss, I go to look like him have cold, Boss, me know what wrong with a goat and now I'm moving, then that's minimum wage, man. I'm just keeping it real. That's minimum wage. Any other questions? I hope I answered that question to your liking, GG's. People got to bring value to your operation. Like, seriously. Like, Cruz know I'm miserable when it comes to these things. Him can give a fire emoji right now, thumbs up until I say, yo, Mr. Ray, I'm miserable. Mr. Ray, not always a fuss about something. The one thing he knows is that I have his best interests at heart all the time, 24/7. So you have to let your people them feel like you care. You got to let them feel the care that you have for them. Your most valuable asset beside you, where you spend your money on the farm, is your workers, because they can destroy you and they can help you build out. It's a real talk. So you shouldn't undervalue a man, but at the same time, you shouldn't overvalue and let a man let you feel like, say, he brings certain value to you that he actually doesn't. You have to have the ability to figure that out, have systems in place. As I said, check and balance, checklist, all that stuff to figure out what is this person bringing to the table. How much do they take off your plate? How much space them create for you to do more of what you love to do? I can tell you right now, there's a lot of things, mundane things on the farm I don't like to do. If I have to do it, I'll do it. Because I tell crews all the time, I'm not ask anybody anything to do on the farm that I'm not willing to do. Certain things I don't like doing, certain things I just can't do for a long period of time. I'll give you a little story. One time we lost workers, I think it was Molly or somebody didn't come in. Cruz and I go cut some grass. Just me and Cruz move, cut some grass. Cruz say, okay, me cut the grass and bundle it up and you carry it up to the van. The first bundle of grass, Cruz tie up and me bend down and pick up that and put that on my head and struggle up to the van with it and throw it in at the back of the van. We come back down to Cruz, me I say, yo, man, I tell you this right now. Me not build for this. It's on my lines. Me not build for this, bro. Me not build for this, for pick up the big bundle of grass here, put on my head and carry it. Me not build for this. We go through it, we struggle and go through it, yes, but I know my lines. So it doesn't mean that if push come to shove, I wouldn't do it. I'm not if I push come to shove and I have to go cut grass and do those bundles, I guarantee you it won't be the size bundle that Cruz was making. It will be maybe half the size. And I'll make double the trip to get it to the van because I have to. But the size that he was making and lifting it up and taking it, no, sir, I can't manage that. No, old man, I can't manage that. But it doesn't mean I wouldn't do it. If I have to do it, I'll do it. But the farm is there, the system is set up that we can pay somebody to do it. Farm can pay somebody to do it. That's what we do. Now, I don't want a man tell me that he not certain things and a film thing and not do it. Because you're getting paid to do it. And I will do it. So if I will do it, then you can't tell me, say, you can't pick up a broom and sweep that. Or you can't hold a goat and check the goat. Man, I make some little funny joke how man love feel up breast and then think that when Cruz a milk goat. I'm like, you know what's coming out of that breast? Money. If you find a breast up where you live, that when you squeeze it up, money come out of it, wouldn't you be feeling it up every day? Okay, order, Trudy, order. It's us regular people. Okay, I'm gonna explain to Trudy. The man named joke was that about order. The joke was about breasts, what they call the other breasts. So they were joking about squeezing up breasts. We know it's other, but I have to tell the people and what the joke was about. Do you guys ever give a good work a kid during kidding season or strictly cash bonus if it's a successful kidding season? That's a good question. I don't think I've ever given a kid. I don't believe in selling my and giving away my product as incentive. If somebody's buying the product, I give them discount. Crews get enough discount. Crews used to buy me and want to buy my best coat them for cheap and give them to him father for giveaway. Right, Judy? That's what they used to do. Yeah, I used to want to buy my best kids for cheap, turn around, either sell it or give it to him father for him father big giveaway, birthday giveaway thing. But no, we never give away our product. I would say, I hope the dog was comfortable. No, 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 no. We're not in the doggos. We're not in the doggos. No, we do other things. We incentivize in other ways. You know what I mean? Like I'm a big, or we're big on trying to improve in a more tangible way, help people in a more tangible way. You know, not just give them something that they can flip. We're more. I'll give you an example of if somebody needs to get their license done or whatever, we will do what we can for them to achieve that. You know what I mean? If we can help them get a bank account or whatever it is, we will help them achieve that. Something that long term improve their lives. You know what I mean? Like Cruz, give me a thumbs up if I can tell your story in this case, if you're still here. You know what I mean? I don't want to talk about Cruz thing if you know what I'm talk about him thing. But he's a perfect example of what I mean when I say help long term, help people long term. Something that actually impact their life and just don't give them a go to them can go flip. If I give a man a kid and I mean I see him business as me, then I don't understand how that work. You know, I will be giving them building for them herd by giving them free goat. No, I don't believe in that. I guess Cruz is not here, so I don't want to talk about them business unless he gives me permission to do it. Yeah, so yeah, we do other things to help our workers and incentivize them and show them that we appreciate what they do. So, any other question? I don't think there's any other questions. You know, doesn't look like it. Oh, the man's not in the doghouse, bro. I'm not in the doghouse. Judy, am I in the doghouse? No, I'm not in. Oh, see, Cruz a real med. So you gotta give me a thumbs up, Cruz, if I can tell them the story. The story about when we were going to visit that farm in Islington. Give me a thumbs up if you want me to share the story. If not, I keep it a full thing. I think it would help people to understand what really matters when it comes to their workers if they take an approach like that because it really changed people's lives. So, Cruz, if I could get your permission to share it, I will. I don't know why it take him so long for respond. Trudy, where's your worker? Where is he? Why it take so long to respond? Him near hurt him. Oh, okay. I understand that. She needs to rest. But yeah, any other questions or comments before I go? Then we will call it a night. Um, I need to give a shout out and a special thing to Brian. He's one of the guys in the different Facebook group, and he lost his wife this week. And I wanted to show some send some love and condolences to him and his family, and prayers up, and let him know, say, yo, we got him in our thoughts. So if anybody, I'm sure a lot of you guys here are familiar with Brian, so uh, just keep him in your thoughts and prayers. Thank you. Um, yeah, our condolences to him, and we have to look out for and keep our family in our thoughts all the time. You know what I mean? Because all we got is ourselves, our people that are with us all the time, showing love and support. Yeah. So, folks, to all the Canadians, happy Thanksgiving. Yes, American people and Canada Thanksgiving is different from the American people and Thanksgiving. So it's Canadian Thanksgiving weekend. But for the people who don't know, I'm a proud Canadian resident and Jamaican resident. So I have to represent. Other than that, it's been great, folks, and thank you all for being here. And we'll see you next time. For all the folks that are celebrating the Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving, and see you guys next week. Enough blessings, respect, and little more. Peace out. All right.